Good morning, Legion players, fans, children of all ages. This is the Las Vegas Open 2023 Star Wars Legion Grand Championship Top 8. And I'm joined today by Matthew Zeusjus Bronson.
Hello, hello.
Say hello, sir. You said hello.
Hello there.
Hello there. All right, we're here live from the top 8. This is the round of 8. There are, after 143 players competed on Friday, we cut to 64 on Saturday, and now we are here in the final stretch of the tournament. 3 rounds today, single elimination tournament. It is going to be a great day. We're going to see a lot of really high-level games today, and I've got Matt here to provide some commentary for me as well, or for us, excuse me.
It can be. I'll think of it as just for you, Dave.
Just for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I appreciate that. but you host a podcast.
I do. Since my last time on the mic, actually, I think, which was at SoCal Open.
Yes.
About a week or two after that, we went live with the Bombad General. So you can find us wherever podcasts or fine podcasts are sold.
So like Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
All of that. We got quite a few episodes out now. We do a couple with just myself and Seth, Degree on the Discord. We have some with player interviews, getting to know the community, and then also some tournament recap ones. So a good variety, competitive focus. I'd highly recommend it. Shameless plug.
I gotta say, this is one interesting point about this game. This is something that's different and new to this tournament, and I think major tournaments in general. Deployments are actually on the chess clock.
Looks like this part at least is less than height 1, right?
And so players are actually like, this is the fastest deployment I've ever seen because it's on the clock.
Yeah.
They're just slamming through this deployment. In fact, they might almost all be deployed by now.
Breakthrough battle lines also helps here. Nice, easy to measure deployment zone. So I guess we can talk through what's going on in this game and then give some updates on what's going on around the room. So here we've got Kyle Dornbos, obviously very well-known player playing Blizzard Force, the list he took Pykes with back in December against JR Deeter, the defending champ, running Shadow Collective. So the Blizzard Force is a pretty standard Blizzard Force. It's got Op Vader, it's got 4 bikes with transponders, 2 HRUs with the range 4 guns. A lot of good firepower there. The Shadow Collective list, it's Maul with Darksaber and Into the Fray. So we're seeing that switch to Into the Fray with the deflect changes. So makes Maul a little more survivable in melee. Makes his lightsaber kind of spotty, 6 black. It's swingy. It's Commander Luke lightsaber is what Maul's got. So that'll be tricky. He has divulged here, so he does have infiltrate with Maul on the deployment. And then he's got a bunch of Pykes without the capo upgrades, so just 5-man Pike units, 3 of which are Electro Whips, 2 of which are Disruptors, and then a big Black Sun Enforcer unit in a bus with a medic.
And from like here.
Looks like he's measuring with his silhouette to see where he's going to end up placing Maul. He just asked Kyle if he could see that silhouette that he put down on the board.
That would be pretty aggressive, but that's Maul can do that. And if you can choke out some heavies early, that might be good. I mean, the way I see this going down, if they toilet bowl and no one kills anything, they're both sitting at 10x. But due to the new rules changes, the player with the more points would win the game, which is JR. So that means that Kyle is the attacker here. He has to change the current game state somehow. So as you can see, JR's put the bus right in the corner because when we're talking about Blizzard, it's not unreasonable that Blizzard could destroy the bus in a single round. With 4 bikes and 2 HRU shots, it's, I think, basically average a dead bus in that scenario. So JR's trying to make it such that the Blizzard Force has to go through his entire army if they want to get to the medic bus.
And that entire army is 3 Pike units with whips and 2 units with disruptor capos.
So not a lot of firepower, not like what we're used to seeing from a Pike gun line. Because if the Black Suns do go in the bus, it'll probably be hang the bus back, go in last and then maybe jump out first with the Black Suns, or jump out as soon as the bus is in danger. And they could unload. So I think what we're going to see is a lot of choke happening as well with these two force users. It's a big part of both of their kits as far as getting through dodges or getting through the red saves in cover and just getting to heavies right away.
I wonder how you do play Maul here, if you play Maul aggressive or not, because you have no incentive right now as red to actually be aggressive. You just need to protect all your stuff.
Yeah, I think the spot he was pre-measuring from before, it's pretty guarded, so I could see him just putting him up there kind of as a zoning mechanism. It's pretty hard for Bikes to flank
doubles?
that.
Your extra guys?
So that would seem pretty decent.
The guys inside your box.
Oh, no, that was for painting competition.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Kyle mentioning the painting competition. He is a man of many talents. I believe he placed third for
In the bus.
full army or for full unit. I think for full unit, his P2s. So he's a good player and a good painter.
I already paused it.
Puts Maul in the
did?
bus,
Okay.
protecting him from the bombardment. Definitely the most valuable piece in his army.
That makes sense.
Makes sense?
Yep.
Because with Shadow Collective Maul, you're not starting with reliable like Vader, and you probably don't want to play one of your dodge cards early. You have to take a wound, so if you get hit by that bombardment, you might be taking 2 wounds
I
already,
don't remember.
Oh,
which does mean the Black Suns are out. So
All my exhaust upgrades.
before we get too far in this game, I will give some updates on what else we've got going on around the room. So
All right.
we
my
have
bag.
half the top cut is Empire,
no token.
and the way the pairings fell,
This
they're
is
dispersed
the
among
fourth
all
bike
4
token,
games
because I don't
today,
have
so
4
every
bike
game has
tokens.
one Empire in it.
Oh yeah, go ahead and do your.
On one table,
Yeah,
we've
that
got
one's my clock,
a
right?
droid invasion force with Dooku and an AAT facing the other Blizzard force. Basically the same list as what Kyle is running. I don't think there's too many changes.
You put them on the cards and not on the.
yeah, because
The
it gets
note
too
about that one
massive
is that
convoluted.
there's only one
I see
repair
the
droid
highlight color.
in the
Okay.
invasion
Okay.
Red
force,
squad,
and
purple
All right,
squad.
I may have
their
to
side
ask
of the
you
table, it
to-
might be a little tricky to move the tank and to move Dooku
feel
just
free to
because
cut my
the big
stack
piece of
before I put it in
LOS
my bag.
blocking is height
Sometimes it
2,
doesn't
so it's
couple
not
at all.
something that Dooku can climb over when he wants to engage. And it's not
Alright,
something
that's
the AT can go over, so that'll be tricky. With only one repair droid, I think Blizzard can take care of the tank pretty quickly, and really it's a list that just has 2 big pieces. Like, there's not a lot going on. There's only 2 crit gun B1s are the only units with heavy weapons
Like
in the whole army,
improv.
so it's 2 big things. Another table, we've got Boba and Cad, 12 Axe versus Anakin Padme.
Or-
There's some good LOS blockers on that table for the Bounty Boys. Should be a tight
I
one.
use
It's a
these
lot of
tokens,
beef,
if I
but it's also
Cat
a
or
pretty
triple.
strong gun line
Okay.
with a triple shore, mortar, some snipers. We'll see if snipers can just line up and shoot. And then the last game is the 501st versus Iden, Boba, and IG-88. And there's some long sight lines on that table, good for sniping. But the thing is, as someone who's played Iden, Boba, 88, it does rely on, getting some early damage and getting ahead on attrition and snowballing, and blink damage for some of the sniping. Dash is he obviously can't dodge high velocity, but he's got barrier Anakin,
We'll go with,
so he can
vigilance.
have
Okay.
canceling high velocity crits
Takes
with
off
that.
suppression.
He's got medics, so that might be enough for him to actually
pass the
survive
name
the initial
to
onslaught, close
boys.
the distance with all the scout on his triple arcs, and then punch
then
the list
recover.
in the face. Because Iden, Boba, 88. The whole list, it's kind of like Blizzard. It's a scalpel. You punch it in the face, and sometimes it can't come back.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what happens with those 3 games.
Especially once to get those range 2 arc shots.
Yes.
Those are the really meaty stuff he can do, and he's very aggressive about spending surges on offense too, to make sure those punches hurt as hard as possible.
Yep. So we will continue to give updates on those ones as we go, but the game in front of us is continuing here, and we see Kyle going with a bike, just being a little cagey, not engaging yet. So I was actually, the game I lost yesterday in the Blizzard Mirror was a Battle Lines breakthrough game like this, and I was kind of in
Want to be
the,
at 4?
It was kind of the exact
like to be
position that
mad at
JR was
5.
in. I was kind of in the corner. My opponent was more in the middle. One of the problems I ran
Looks like I
into
currently am not,
was the
so I'm just
fact
gonna
that
move
he
to
could range
dodge.
control better because he could dip in and out because he had a lot more of the board to play with. Whereas for me, I was pinned to the corner. There's basically nowhere you can go. You either go into their guns or you stay where you're at, which is in range of their guns. So we'll see if that comes into play here today.
I'm just wondering how these Black Suns are going to get in because they're not in the bus right now, and they
I
have to basically follow the bus.
I think they are in rapid reinforcements, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah. So they could, if all the bikes go forward, you could put the Black Suns in Kyle's deployment zone and then just come up behind stuff and start nuking it. It would be very aggressive, but bikes are not super efficient at turning around. Like if they turn around to engage the Black Suns, then it's going to take a few more turns for them to engage the rest of the army. On the other hand, they're fine with that because then Kyle just goes to the left of the screen here, having killed a unit, being up on activations, up on kill points, and then just calls it the game. So probably would be too aggressive to try to do that with the Black Suns, but we'll see what he does.
I like that idea, though. Bikes do have to take 2 actions to turn around normally, or they have to do like pivot and then move. But that's tough because you can't pivot first. You have to.
So you probably do like a 90-degree compulsory, then another 90-degree turn,
Do your
Right.
disruptors have
and then
capo
hopefully you've got them in
personnel or
arc,
just the capo guy
or
and
maybe
that's it?
and then you shoot, and then next turn you have to turn around again.
That's right.
No.
Okay.
Why so
I'll
many
courage one.
whips? That's a good question. It's a 10-point extra body, which is really nice. It's also got some immobilize shenanigans in melee, which is equally good. They're very vulnerable to the force choke, is the problem. So, I've used whips in a couple games, and both games were against Vader, and it doesn't go well when you've got choke on the enemy team because they can just they'll maybe shut down one squad and then whip another or choke another, and then the whips are sort of like, well, I usually bring 2, and so if I'm losing, if my whip squad gets engaged and then he chokes the other whip, I'm cooked. There's nothing there to actually like combat it. So I'm a little bit fearful for the whips, honestly, in this game.
Yeah, the thing about whips is immobilize is a great keyword when you've got immobilize 2, and you can shut something down from moving completely. Immobilize 1 just isn't quite the same. If you only manage to put 1 immobilize on Vader, his movement range goes from 6 inches to 4 inches versus 6 inches to 0 inches with immobilize 2. And even if you do immobilize him, if he's in the middle of the pikes, even if he can't move, he's fine. He's probably the best force user to deal with being immobilized because he's got Vader's might, he's got implacable, he's got ways around it where he can just say, whatever, I'll just sit here, choke your guys, Vader's might someone into me, chop them up, force push someone into me, and he'll still wreck your army. So it's a tough going for the whips. And then as a result, there's not a lot of shooty power. Like if I'm Vader, I'm still choking out the disruptors first when I get in, and I'm just eating the whips.
I think the challenge also for JR here is he's got he's got to make sure that he doesn't accidentally isolate any one of his pikes because those bikes they're like carrion birds, man. They're just gonna swoop in and just tear apart whatever exposes itself.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of damage, and plus, like, if there's anything left out in the open as Blizzard Alpha Strike as it's known,
Pivot.
it's gonna just rip it apart, and then he'll be down an act, and then the pressure will be on him to engage, and it could snowball from there.
And it'll be very tough to engage as well because they're Courage 1 pikes with no compel. So, once the Bombard card comes out and it's double suppression, then it's going to be very hard for those pikes to both move and shoot things for breakthrough. And if they're staying in one spot for long enough, they're going to get torn apart, and they're definitely not going to score.
Yeah, they'll get frozen essentially because they'll be on 1 to 2 suppression the entire time.
Yeah, the upgrades on the pike capos, 1 has vigilance, 1 has improvised orders, so no lead by example.
Yeah, that's
You can't take
to me that's a little
action when you're in
problematic.
full strength, right?
Correct.
And then if we see here the droid gunship wing, that's kind of in the just above the line in the middle of the screen on the right, that's a very good LOS blocker, and it's under height 1. So I assume Vader's
take
just
a
going
dodge
to
from
walk
top.
up straight behind that, basically can't be flanked, and can easily climb over it with the new rules. And the Vader engagement range is nuts. Also, what he can do, he can just jump from one side, scatter something towards him, choke out the heavy, jump back to the other side to safety.
Yeah, you gotta love the new climb rules, right?
Climbing Vader is nuts. So Kyle making good
Double
use of
move.
that middle blocker,
What do you got left?
getting a couple moves in
Bikes,
here when he can.
basically Vader, Commander, Bikes, and then my rapid unit.
I'd expect Kyle's trying to hold the commander for late here so that he can get better information on where all the units are for next turn, so he can set up a good bombardment shot.
There's going to be 3 matches today. So we're in the top 8. There's going to be a top 4 after that at 1 o'clock, and our final game at 4 o'clock in the Pacific time zone.
We'll take a dodge.
Okay.
So you went 5-1 just at the wrong time.
Exactly. Most of the players in the top cut are 5-1 actually. It doesn't matter at this point, but just as a point of curiosity, 6 of the top 8 are 5-1. The 2 6-0 players are actually the 2 guys that we're seeing playing right now. So after this game, there will only be 1 completely undefeated player left in the tournament.
All right, there'll be a 7-0, a 6-1, and then other 6-1s and 4-2s.
Yeah.
Depending on how everything shakes out.
So yeah, it's funny because I beat Screwtape Michael on day 1. He's in top 8, and then Evan beat Dash's day 1 as well, and they're both in top 8. So there is a possibility for a rematch there.
I don't think you'll be able to see them.
I don't think there are any other players who played each other in the
see
first few
them there?
days, but whatever happens, we're going to see some good Legion.
We're either going to see an all Empire top 4, or we're going to see a no Empire top 4.
I mean, it could be in between.
It could be in between, but it would be kind of funny if they all fall together.
It would be, but I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
yeah.
I think some of them are gonna get through. Perhaps break through.
I see what you did there.
You revoke my dad joke card.
Yeah. Oh, you're a dad,
How many
so
portraits?
I am a
it
dad.
works.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
2 and then your bots, that's it?
Yep.
Okay.
Somewhat selfishly,
and Maul.
I want to see
And Maul.
Blizzard do well so that it gets nerfed for Worlds,
This is my
because
rapid
I
unit.
want AMG to see the problem it is. If this weekend taught us anything, it's that Blizzard is still very good with the new cover rules. You know, it's harder to flank with bikes, but jumping Vader, great. Jumping HRUs, pretty great when you can just get on top of a building. Of course, when I'm saying jump, it's the climb rules, but it's basically a
it's-
speed 1 jump.
Yeah. So like all the people who've been playing for a long time think of it as jump, just because it looks like jump.
And, you know, bikes are a little bit different. Now they don't flank as well, but they're still actually pretty decent at denying cover if you just go aggro with them and touch their terrain and just get in their face. Hey, now you're out of cover because the barricade you're standing behind, I'm touching it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't count. So Blizzard's still really good. You know, a lot of good Blizzard players yesterday got knocked out by other good Blizzard players. And that, I think, lowered its representation a bit in the cut.
No, you got him.
But as we see, like,
Oh, yeah.
Empire is still very strong without Blizzard.
Jarrett looking to see if he's got a disruptor shot on Vader here.
I'll see if, you know, a wound here or a wound there is great.
I'm not sure.
But
Sight is going to be
the
your bigger
chances
issue
are
if
pretty
you're gonna
low.
be to the side of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like you just
that's
take
my
your double move because, again, these pikes are going to run into action economy issues real quick. So take your moves where you can get
Am I
them.
silhouetting?
Uh,
I love how both players are just being very, very thorough. You know, they're just being very thorough with the way they're
take another
doing this.
dodge.
They're measuring everything. They're silhouetting everything, and no engagement yet for those Pykes taking another dodge.
Looks like they're, instead of going to the left of that train piece in the corner, they are going around the side, trying to stay as far away as possible from the bikes. I didn't hear the entire train discussion. I'm not sure how they defined that green pool on the right. I would think maybe difficult terrain, so they would want to go around it, but hard to say. Oh, note in the chat that, okay, Evan defeated Bushfax. Yes, Bushfax is not in the top 8. He was a rebel. The Rebels did not make top 8. They're struggling a bit.
It looked like in his last game yesterday, it looked like Opluke just got assassinated by Blizzard Force. Like it just was.
That'll hurt. Yep.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, you know, shoot
you just
Opluke
have
with
the force
everything, and
open,
you
that's
can't
it.
roll enough saves, even if you have like 4 medics.
I will say
And the bus.
that there are still chances that the top in faction prize for every single faction could be a battle force.
Which ones are you disrupting?
This weekend, the top rebel
this
was
one right
Echo
here?
Base. The top CIS was Invasion Force, and obviously we could have top Empire be Blizzard Force, and we could have top GAR be 501st.
We could have an interesting situation where all the top players are playing the battle forces, which is pretty cool, actually. I didn't, battle forces weren't meant to be competitive, but it turns out the reality is way different, and they seem to all have some play, at the highest level.
Especially when you bend over backwards to make the thematic list competitive instead of thematic. Cough,
Exactly.
cough, Blizzard Force,
Blizzard
cough,
Force.
cough.
Well, to be fair, the 501st list is,
Do you mind just putting
it is
like,
8 activations, but it's 8 like extremely tough activations and Anakin.
No, exactly. Yeah, the 501st is
Just
definitely
put it
the
on
sleeper
the-
one
between the
here that I don't
pictures
think a
of
lot of people would
that
predict.
gap in particular.
Obviously, Mike Dash is very, very good player, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of beef. And with
Put
the
it, like,
passing
here,
rules,
just to
that
make sure
helps
this
it.
gap is big
I think he was able to
Yeah,
dodge
okay,
Blizzard Force as well pretty effectively, which helps a lot too. His game against Blizzard Force was on day 1, which he lost to Evan, so it kind of got a mulligan on that one. So we'll see. And again, that bus skirting the edge. With the new rules, you can move off the board if you come back onto the board by the end of the move. So this bus could do like a hard left turn, but I do not believe he could pivot and then go straight, because he would end his pivot completely off the board. So the movement options, so there we see. Technically the bus went off the board slightly, came back on, totally legal under the new rules. Under the old rules, that bus would be stuck straight ahead. Unable to turn.
That's and there was a game at an LVO 3 years ago where a Gav tank was placed on the edge of the board and encountered this exact same problem, and there was no help for it then, because the rules were not written in that way.
And a Gav being on the edge of the board really sucks for the Gav with those weak point sides.
Yeah, it really can.
So that bus is making the move. It's turning in a little bit. That's interesting. I mean, it does have cover, which is not trivial against the bikes. The bikes would have to put 4 hits through to get maximum value out of impact. If they roll something like hit, crit, cover is doing something for you there. So that's something. But again, the downside of Maul being in the bus is with these new transport rules, if JR messes up or Kyle does a really good play and the bus blows up with Maul in it, then Maul loses his activation for that round.
Yeah,
which is debilitating.
And takes a wound.
And takes another wound.
Which is like, wow.
So depending where that bus is, he could just be out in the open, close to death.
Right.
And, then it's game over. I don't think JR is going to let that happen. But if it forces Maul to get out of the bus earlier than he wanted to, Kyle's got force push. He can just say, hey, you want to move standby? Whatever. I'm just going to force push you to the open.
For those of you asking why you can't hear the players, is because they really aren't talking that much. They're mostly just, I think they're still waking up. We did start a little bit early, and they're just pondering everything they need to ponder without saying a whole lot. So you'll hear them every so often, but they are there. The audio is there. And you know, it's part of this is a little bit of poker. You know, you're trying to not reveal your plans to your opponent. You're trying to keep your hand close to your vest. You know.
But I think they are doing a good job of talking, like to communicate intent, which is very important. Like that's really where you want to be talking. And here we go. It's the aggressive Black Suns, kind of like we were talking about earlier. He's measuring it out as far as what happens if I pop out in the rear. And then if is he going for it? Oh, he's thinking twice. He's thinking twice. Oh, he's lining up like, what if I just threaten Vader here? Try to knock him off of his perch.
Oh my goodness. Remember, he's got Cunning Maul.
He's got Cunning Maul.
And he might just go for the knockout blow.
Vader could, in that case, you probably want to play Fear and Dead Men. Just go for get a start of turn dodge, get a big deflect off, maybe kill. You know, if he's rolling a bunch of hits, hopefully you roll a bunch of surges, kill the Black Suns, and then just get out of there.
This is also the importance of being on 10 to 10. Because if this was 9 to 10 and you rapided like this, you would be in serious trouble. Because there would be at least one unit left to shoot you.
Yeah, I think the unit left for Kyle is just his snowtrooper in the rapid reinforcement. He's not really doing that much, so I was a bit surprised. I was actually talking to Kyle about his choice to include rapid reinforcements.
I'm done.
I already stopped it.
Okay.
In that, you know, it's not something I would really think of for a Blizzard Force list. Because you don't really have anything you want to put in rapid reinforcements, and I personally,
Green
I don't
and
want to
yellow
risk something
are
like
gonna
this
keep both their
happening,
dodges
where
from
people
hitting?
are threatening me with their close range unit on turn 2. But we'll see how it plays out. It's
So
all.
JR declaring vigilance on green and yellow. I believe those are his Pike disruptors.
He does have 2 copies of Vigilance, so I'm not sure if he's doing more. And that is the end of round 1.
I just love it's such a great thing to watch, the sort of optimal movement. That's a skill that takes a long time to refine in Legion, is the optimal movement of your forces, and it's like ballet. It just looks incredible on the table. I'm gonna go ahead and actually switch to the side cam so you can get a view of those bikes, because the bikes are pretty.
They're on the prowl.
They're on the prowl for sure.
Yeah.
Oops.
They're sizing things up.
Had the remote pointed the wrong way.
Point it at yourself.
Yep.
It's pretty sweet seeing the bikes up on top of that rock there.
And then we've got the Black Suns and Maul.
Yeah, a couple things to note. The Black Suns, there are no Vigos in the list, so at most the Black Suns are only going to be having the 1 aim from Independent.
So it is.
Figured you do the cunning 1 pip.
It's
So
master.
I might as well not bother trying
Yeah.
one priority.
There he goes.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
he says,
Just
"Figured
do
you
a
do
dodge.
cunning 1."
I
Yeah.
was debating a 3 pip, but I was like,
And honestly, it's not guaranteed that the Black Suns
order
will even
to be
be able to go
officer.
first. Because you could draw, it's pretty likely with all the core that JR has in the bag, but he's also got a bus and 2 capos. So maybe he draws one of them and then draws
You wanna
another
come
one
too?
with improvised orders.
I don't care.
okay.
The cards played Master of Evil versus, I believe, At Last.
Oh, called
draw your
it. There we
tokens.
go.
Yeah.
This also gives Kyle some good order control on some key units for him. So he's got it on his officer so that she can inspire probably and spotter when needed. And he's got it on an HRU to go in and take a follow-up shot on those Black Suns to punch.
I think I have to.
Oh,
Yep.
he's going for it.
Yeah, I think.
So this Black Sun shot would be
get my
6
defense
black.
Yeah, yeah.
Kyle's saying,
Hopefully lots of defense dice.
let me get my defense dice out because I see what's happening here.
So yeah, 6 black, 6 white, 1 aim, targeting scopes, and a surge.
Can't get the range 1. Can't get the range 1, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a drag, but that's fine. You can still force a lot of saves with the regular shooting. 6 black, 6 white is a pretty good pool with an aim with precise.
Yeah.
No, there is a Vigo.
All right, and then we'll shoot.
On average, I'm going to run the numbers here, but I think on average this shot is about seven hits.
Yeah.
You know, if they all surge, 6 black, 6 white starts out unaimed at 6 hits. Of course, he does only have 1 surge, so adding in the aim, yeah, probably about 6 or 7.
6.
Yep.
Which is honestly, with Surging Vader, only going to do about 2 wounds, but it's not nothing.
Oh, that is
It looked good.
that is
A lot of surges.
a lot of surge tokens.
Yeah, and that's where sometimes with surges, you just roll a bunch of them. Oh,
Targeting scopes.
Oof.
Oh,
So I guess the question is, do I recover from this thing since my silhouette's clipping it?
Oh, that's a good
oh,
question.
that's a huge question too.
I would say yes. Because it is
that's-
obscured.
I
The
think-
silhouette is
Do you want to
obscured.
just call judge?
Yeah, go for
Because I had this happen to me.
it. Judge.
Consular.
These fancy new titles.
Yes.
Does Vader have cover here if his silhouette is clipping the thing from this angle?
Yeah, so
They're gonna go grab the tools they need to make sure this is correctly ruled.
yeah, but I am 95% sure rules is written that Vader should have cover because part of his silhouette is obscured by a piece of terrain.
Question is if he gets cover from that.
Because essentially the cylinder of the silhouette
No?
clips.
Okay. Not from this little nugget there.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
They didn't get the silhouette out.
Was clipping through the terrain, basically. Okay. Right. Okay.
Oh,
All right, we'll spend the dodge.
So the
it's
ruling went
3
against
saves.
him. No
I'm not
cover.
gonna spin the surge.
So 2 saves?
Yeah.
Okay. One deflect.
So Vader deflecting there, killing a model. Matt going to ask the details
Ophelia, that
of
was
this
a pretty
ruling so
overwhelming-
we can
Yeah.
communicate to stream what's
I
going
figured it was
on.
my best shot, you know?
Yep. I'm gonna go with the command. Gonna give an aim to this HRU here.
Now those Black Suns are in trouble.
Move.
So give me the details. Let's see what happened here.
yeah. So basically, what they're saying is, yes, it's clipping, but they're in Nima's words, they're being flexible. They're not
Is
giving
this one mine or yours?
cover
Mine's all
for
painted.
that. He was saying he thinks it's in the rules that you can't overlap. You can't technically overlap terrain with your cylinder.
Okay.
So you shouldn't actually be in that position. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, me either.
But basically, that's how he says they're playing it, and you know when that he's the head judge. So
Right, and part of me wonders about the statement in the early part of the rule book that says your physical model doesn't block movement.
yeah.
So
Well, and this is even the silhouette because we're in this situation because the physical model is fine, and it's the silhouette that
the
clips.
silhouette
So
that clips, and so it's just interesting to me.
it'll take some reading. It'll take a little bit of reading to do for sure. So I missed the resolution. Did Vader end up taking any
This is in your
wounds?
bag, right?
He took no wounds. In fact, he deflected one back.
Yeah, okay, so there you go.
It was only 2 saves.
And block
move.
surge.
Yep.
Yep.
So now Vader
improv should be
is
fresh.
feeling pretty decent. He doesn't really have to activate and move. If he really wanted to later, you know, he could go in and mess up those Black Suns, but he probably doesn't need to because the thing about this move with the Black Suns from JR, that was kind of his big shot. He's not really going to get another good shot with the Black Suns for the rest of this game if Kyle
Alright,
doesn't
so
want
I'm
him
gonna
to.
move, like,
'cause
back here
the
with
whole
this
rest of
HRU.
the army is
Okay.
gone.
Take a shot. They obviously have heavy cover.
So spotted the aim over. Going to be a big shot into
Wanna
those
go to
HRUs,
exactly 3.
from the HRUs into the Black Suns to weaken them up. And then probably the thought is Vader can go in and choke him out, chop him up if need be. I could see Vader just playing goalie here. Just send the entire rest of the army the other direction and let Vader play goalie and mess stuff up.
Yeah.
There we go. So confirmation silhouette not allowed to clip terrain. So that actually is pretty big. Like then technically I don't think those HRU can't go there. It actually makes things very difficult with a lot of terrain to touch to
Yeah.
actually base terrain.
Especially
to,
if it's like rocky with like outcrops and things like that.
yeah. So that because then if you can't clip it and then you can't base it, then you have to stand behind it and give cover to everything you shoot at.
So 7?
7 after. How many after cover?
5.
Some weird kinks in the new rules. So yeah, basically the ruling is he shouldn't have been there in the first place, so they're not going to move the model, but they're not going to give him cover for it.
So those Black Suns now reduced to half strength, taking 2 more wounds there from the HRU squad.
Yeah. And of course they've used their surge. Do they? I believe they use their surge offensively.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm trying to look for it on the table.
I don't see it on the table. Yeah. I don't think they used it offensively because there were only 3 hits and there were lots of surges. So.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is an interesting discussion in the chat, guys. This is it's interesting because we're seeing a little bit where the rubber meets the road with abstract things versus true things, you know, or I guess not abstract. I mean, what's the opposite of abstract? I need to take the SAT again. Clearly,
concrete. I don't know.
Concrete, discrete,
Real?
I don't know. Real. Yeah, something like that.
I'm a simple man with simple language.
Yeah.
These guys do the one job.
Yep, it makes sense.
And of course, being pretty new, you know, everyone's trying to learn the rules on the fly. I know in the airport I was sitting reading through 11 pages of forum rulings,
Yeah.
catching up on all the ones I'd missed since the last time read through all the forum rulings. You know, we see, I think a lot of people, you know, this weekend we saw, you know, the hero Dave Grant going through, and a lot of people didn't know about
They
all
didn't
the
know
rules
about
with
disembark, pull the strings.
Now
Yeah.
that was always legal, but if you read the forum, people, as we said to do on our podcast, hint, hint.
Yeah.
That's why you should listen to the best podcast in Legion.
Oh my
Read the
goodness.
forum rulings, because I believe it was Dave who put in, can you disembark with pull the strings? And can you then get 2 actions after that? So do the prep work there.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing of being competitive, right? You got to do your homework on the rules, and whoever knows the rules better has an advantage. And that's just part of playing the game competitively. It's just the default.
Yeah.
The problem is when you learn some things
4.
during the game. That's when things get really problematic, because then it's like, oops.
I'm gonna go with this HRU.
Okay.
We're gonna go to range 4 of this Black Sun.
Okay.
Yeah, so the HRU saying, hey, we'll worry about breaking through later. We're going to take the
range
shot
4
where
shot
we
at
can
him.
get it.
Okay.
Because probably these HRUs can finish the Black Suns off. And then, as we say, the game has completely flipped.
Yeah.
And Kyle is in the driver's seat.
There's so much range for the ability to lash out at high range.
They should have a suppression, right?
Yeah, I put it on the card.
Oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, HRUs are done like
Four?
that.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
that happens sometimes.
It's. I've had
nice
an
and
unnamed HRU do that, and my Pikes with 3 dodges in heavy cover
Yep.
spends the surge.
spends a
takes
surge.
one.
Yep. So now, 100% chokeable. 100% chokeable.
All right.
Kyle putting all those transponders out because seems like this might be the time for them. But I could see him playing coy with the bikes one more turn just to be able to hit with the bikes on the same turn as the bombardment comes down.
The HRUs have DLTs and RTCs.
Yeah, so the reason you want that combo, like it's a fantastic combo. At range 4, you're shooting 3 red, 3 white, and you can have an aim from spotter on a move shoot. So that's a really strong range 4 pool. And it leans into Blizzard's strength, which is I
Don't
can hit
matter.
you
Don't matter.
really hard, starting very far away. So basically,
All right,
from
we'll go
range
with,
5, the
this
HRUs can
capo.
move and take
Okay.
that shot. From infinite range, you
gonna
can
move
do the
up.
bombardment
Yep.
card,
Recover.
the 2-pip,
Okay.
and then the bikes can double move with a transponder aim and shoot you from beyond range 5. So basically, you can't hit them before they alpha
Like-
strike you.
Yeah, it's really, really strong.
What has not gone yet over here?
These 2 pikes, and then this capo.
And are these whip pikes or disruptor pikes? Whips. Okay. Thank you.
Kyle measuring for his bikes, trying to see which direction they will go, whether they'll go towards the pike ball or go towards those black suns and try to get even more damage dealt.
All right, these guys are going to use their transponder for an aim.
Okay.
Yeah, and the good thing is if they turn in on those black suns, next turn they can turn in, the opposite direction, back to their right, and basically be facing all the pikes or the bus. And they can almost use this. Looks like they'll move again.
Moving train
probably,
for advantage.
and they can use this wing as a LOS blocker as well to avoid taking chip shots.
All right.
So I'm using Logitech Brios. They're just webcams, but I have this big camera over here. This is a pan-tilt zoom camera that I'm using. It's a cheap
Move
one,
up to 3 a little bit.
but it
make
still
sure I'm
delivers
in
pretty
arc.
good picture.
Lasers.
How many
Kyle.
points are those black suns?
They are. Ooh, that's a good
Black
question.
Suns
Kyle.
have 91
48,
points.
5, 6, 18, 14. It's a lot of math.
They're worth way more than a bike unit.
Yeah, way more.
Bike units are 74. The weird thing I realized about Blizzard this weekend is, like, everything in Blizzard is 74 points. The HRUs are 74, bikes are 74. So you can really get some. It's really weird when
we'll
you have
take
a
a shot
Blizzard
at 'em.
mirror and you're trading points.
Did we decide how many points there were? What was it again?
You got 48 plus 5 and 6. So
This
the
is where
frag
it's nice to
plus
have
the
printed out
stroke, so
lists.
it's 84.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, bird dogs are not cheap. PTZ cameras are not
All
cheap.
right, 1 aim token.
I think he told
Shoot the
Kyle
black sun.
84.
Yeah, 84.
They are 91 points.
They're 91.
Yeah, they're 91 points.
Oh,
on
he
his
must
submitted
have he
list.
must
So
have
they-
forgotten his
But I think
targeting scope.
it won't matter too much. Like
5.
it's still, I think all Kyle needs to know is they're more than the bikes.
Oof.
HRUs
Math is hard in
get
the
wiped.
moment.
Yeah.
So goodbye Black Sun. So now Vader doesn't have to deflect his path. He can dive the army if he wants to, or just go 1v1 on Maul. And Vader's probably going to win that duel with Implacable and his 6 red. Maul does
Provide order
have
that?
Yep.
Duel of the Fates, so he
didn't
gets
you
a
already
turn
recover?
where Vader
Or did
can't
you
spend
recover?
tokens
I recovered.
defensively,
Okay.
but it's
was
not
a
great.
capital.
Yeah, yeah.
Maul is inside the bus.
Yeah, Maul's just chilling out, waiting for the opportunity to pop out.
So I think while this goes down, I'll go grab some quick updates on where all the other games are.
Go ahead. And if you have a picture, you can send it to me, and I'll put it on the screen.
I think I moved far enough.
Yeah, you did.
So Vader is hiding underneath the gunship. The gunship body, sort of in the on the right side of the screen. Not the head of the gunship, but the gunship body. Where is the verisimilitude? Is it safe? It seems in your abstraction you killed it.
Has this unit gone yet?
No.
here. So it's that unit, the Maul, the bus and Maul, and that's it.
And yeah.
That's okay. And that would be close anyway. Looks like if that was roughly here, he probably would not get cover from this because it'd be way more than 50% visible. You just look from that vicinity.
And here's the other problem is trying to get cover on the bus,
Yeah.
or whether the cover would be.
I'm gonna go with these brown bikes
available
here.
to
They're
the
gonna
bus.
use the transponder to get a dodge.
Okay, Kyle doing the transponder dodge play just to keep his bikes alive. You know, if the bikes start falling for Blizzard, you lose punch pretty quickly, though. With that cover,
You
with
mind
the
just
bus
backing
being
this up
in
to where the bus
cover,
is?
missing the aim is gonna be
Is that
kind of
good right there?
rough. Like they probably won't get full impact value potentially. At least you're leaving a lot up to
So we'll move
chance.
to exactly 3.
Thing is, the bus is huge,
The bus is huge.
so it's really hard to get cover from literally anything.
Did they already? Well, I
Take
guess
a
you
shot
have
at the
to,
bus with an aim.
to see.
Or no aim, sorry, they have a dodge.
Oh,
Transponder.
yeah, Kyle almost cheated. Kyle, you
Oh,
got to cheat to be good. That's what I always say. He's been found out.
no! Come on!
Yeah, no, I know. I got through. Oh,
Oh my goodness!
4 saves.
4 saves coming in.
okay.
Half
So
the
no
bus.
cover for the bus, and 2 natty crits there. Because that's the thing. When you talk about Blizzard with Impact 10 between bikes and HRUs,
That's
when you're
cut
throwing
dice.
that many dice, you're also just getting natty crits. So
Yeah, so you get natty crits and impact too.
yeah, exactly.
Capo.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons I really want Blizzard nerfed before Worlds is otherwise Dark Troopers are kind of dead on arrival. I feel like because Impact 10 plus natty crits into Dark Troopers is
Yep.
just a dead
Give
squad.
No cover, plus can't heal them.
Exactly.
Everything just kind of balls up and
Just
gets worse.
just based on impact, you've
Yeah.
lost half your
Give a
squad
name to these guys.
in one turn.
In
if
one
everything
turn.
fires.
Yep.
And then you've got natty crits. You've probably lost a heavy. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's rough.
Bike. I'll do the same thing. Transponder for a dodge.
No, the bus is just too big. It's also like whether it's obscured at time of shot.
It's
Yeah,
50% at the time of shot for vehicles.
Don't underestimate the height of the bus.
It's looking at it here because we've got a pretty good side view of
Take a
it from
shot
where
at
we're
the
at.
tank.
It
Or
is.
bus, whatever it's called.
It's pretty close because the silhouette of the bus does start at the base because it's hover ground. So it's tight, but obviously they've said.
Another bike shot into the bus, getting another natty crit for 3.
I mean, natty crits on 6 dice are pretty likely.
More.
The bus is on its breaking point, and that
Wow.
is
What's that one?
I think that's the movement one.
what is the
Oh, it's the
symbol?
movement one.
Yeah.
It's the blank.
Yes,
It
it's
takes
the blank.
all actions to move then, and it cannot
Oh,
reverse.
wow.
So it cannot move and heal
Yeah.
this turn, and it cannot double move. I don't think it would want to double move anyways because of Maul, but it definitely wants to move.
Right, but this is why we put Gonk on the bus now.
Gonk on the bus got a lot better in the update because they changed the way shields work.
Yeah.
So that now shields happen after impact. Before they happened before impact in the dodge and cover step. Now they happen in the modify attack dice step.
Yeah.
So the attacker has to convert hits to crits with impact, and then you can cancel crits with the shields.
Yeah. And I mean, now, like, this is also Danger Town because that bus is broken and Maul is still inside.
You got a bus left, right?
Yeah,
Or a bike
that's the
in
thing.
the-
So it's almost like
Back here, yeah.
So he's got to think about, do I get out with Maul? Like, do I get out of this death trap? Both players tanking a little bit here.
The position.
You can still reposition.
I'm gonna try to go as far. Okay.
That's definitely too far away. Almost on my part, though. I think.
Picture the wounded
All right.
bus.
Where's my speed?
Oh, so it's going that way.
Yeah, it's going into the deployment zone for breakthrough. But it's not going to qualify yet because it's not fully within.
And it's potentially going to open up a rear impact shot.
Yeah, but he's
like
out of
for impact
range.
4.
He's out of range.
From a double move attack?
Yes.
Okay, so it's safe for this turn.
Kyle measured that. He moved out of range of that last bike.
But that means Maul kind of has to get out this turn, unless he's going to cunning 1-pip again next turn. Because if Kyle wins priority and goes first and blows up the bus start of next turn, that's almost worse than the bus dying this turn. If the bus died where it was at, then Maul can at least stay behind that rock.
Yeah.
And he's not getting blown up in the open. If the bus dies there, ooh, it could be tough. But also, Kyle, if the bus blows up with Maul, Kyle probably just says, you lost a turn, you're not going to catch up, and just nopes out with his entire army, would be my guess. So that's something to watch. I sent you the pictures as well.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put those up too. Since this game is so action-packed.
There's so much going on in this game, we can't even talk about the other ones.
Yeah, this game is so action-packed.
We'll shoot at the closest one.
This one?
This is, there's a lot of critical stuff happening here, for sure.
You're going to get covered from both.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Ooh. One crit.
Then the aim.
Okay. One
Come
crit.
And a block on the
Come
bike.
on. Let me get something through.
I'm sorry, man.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
The interesting things about bikes, too, especially when you're talking about
this is
Shadow
the
Collective
last
list,
bike.
you really don't have to kill the full bike unit. Like, taking bikes down to one model reduces their effectiveness a lot, especially with new cover rules.
Not super clear
and
if
when you
I
have
can get
dodges.
through.
Like, they're not going to do much offensively. Though, of course, they can still just
It's pretty doable,
go out
actually.
and break through.
We'll get an aim from.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to waste that yet because it's not clear if I can get there.
Why is that so huge?
Where are your disruptors, by the way? Are they like the ones in the
here.
back?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right.
That is Kyle's head UC. The Luscious Locks.
So Matt, go ahead and talk about this game.
Alrighty,
They
so
have
the
4
game we're
dodges.
seeing
Kept 2
here
from vigilance
now
and then
that we're
didn't
gonna
defend it.
update on. This
And then
is
Capital
the
Pass one.
Let's see how it is.
double. This is Mike with the
you kill
double
these guys, I'll be
bounty.
impressed.
So that's Boba Cad, 12-act Shoreline
we'll just
versus
take a shot.
clones.
Okay.
There were a number of clones already off the table. Timbo's running the clones, Anakin Padme, and
Totally pointless shot. 'cause you
not
have
many
maneuver,
wounds
but
on the
who knows,
Imperial
maybe
side
I'll get
that I
like
saw.
5
They
crits.
are playing
Yeah.
Evaporators.
Or you
So
spend 2,
that's something
2,
to consider as well. I haven't double checked what the
Minus
bid
Russian.
situation is at, as far as who is the
All right.
um,
Maulson.
attacker and
Let's go
who is
Vader.
the defender in that
And
scenario.
you got Maul.
I mean, if you want to go with Vader first.
Bikes shooting pikes and only forcing their dodges
All
to
right.
be spent.
So
Yeah.
that's technically considered one move, even though I spent both my actions moving.
Yes, I think so.
Can I borrow your 2?
Sure.
So interesting thing in the Mike versus Timbo game, they are both at 800. So they have to kill something in that game to avoid a draw. So they're kind of both on the attack and the defensive there. So I imagine a pretty cagey match going on.
This is the Maul disembark.
The Maul disembark is big, but yeah, he's got to get out right now.
We'll dodge standby.
Okay.
So disembark, dodge, standby for Darth Maul.
So you just get
No
one
dodge,
action, right?
just small.
Just
me get-
Maul. Arrival.
Oh, Juyo.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
No, you're good.
It's been a while since I played Maul.
No, good.
You can definitely see through that gap.
While the players are tanking, I just want to say where this table is from. It has been generously donated by Legion Terrain.
guess we didn't-
Visit legionterrain.com.
Well, if it's obstacle terrain, you can climb over it.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah. So,
Still trying to learn these new rules.
yeah, I know. Do a good old-fashioned Vader climb.
Yep.
We'll do the scatter attack on those guys.
Okay.
Okay, so here we
That
go.
was a big move. So he climbed over the terrain, which looked like a jump
some of
move
the
again
soldiers
because he
made
was
it
phasing
to-
through something
blast, right?
phasing through an angle that was against him, and he did the
dodges.
scatter
Yeah.
attack.
I assume now he's going to get a
All right.
choke off.
Scatter
Probably
now?
Yep.
scatter.
Vader could use this rock offensively. He could just sit behind it. And
Yeah.
Maul can't really do much about it. Or he could just try to move to engage this Pike army. But I don't think he quite has the distance for that.
It's like, right, well, if it's obstacle terrain, then I can climb over it. Yeah. I don't think he's quite going to make it.
I think he's looking at a move, choke the leader, force push,
Yeah.
is what he's trying to measure. So basically,
Oh, yeah.
if he moves in, so he's looking at a speed 2 move, choke the leader. Now one of the other 4 guys is the unit leader, and then they're going to be in range to force push into Vader, and Vader is safe in melee. In the middle of the pikes,
Choke the
ready
unit
to
leader.
just destroy them.
There it is. Choke the unit leader.
Yeah.
Force him closer. Yep.
Scatter is insane.
It is so good.
As someone who recently adopted, I got into Empire in the fall because the bounty hunters were coming out, and I was like, well, I'm buying them all for Rebels anyways. Why don't I get into Empire and play the better bounty hunters? The
Right.
bounty hunters are fun. And then it dawned on me, wait, I can play Op Vader now.
Yeah.
And then I started practicing him in the few games leading up to this to play Blizzard, and my oh my, Op
Yeah.
Vader is
Vader
insane.
is just nutty.
I went too long in my life without Force Choke in it,
Cover push.
playing light side factions. Force Choke and Scatter is a deadly combo,
I never rolled less suppression.
especially
It doesn't
on something
matter.
like
Yeah,
the
it
Implacable
doesn't matter.
turn. You can just
I agree with
neuter a
that.
gun line.
And these guys should have one suppression after everything.
I mean, Finn, it's how they defined it. They defined it as obstacle, so
Obstacle and impassable are 2 different things. Obstacle, basically they have kind of 2 categories, like obstacle area, and I forget what the last one was, but kind of defined terrain. And then you have open, difficult, impassable, as far as how to
Maul,
move
keep
through
dodge
it.
vigilant.
So I'm sure they didn't define it as impassable. I'm sure they defined it as a difficult thing that they could jump through. Though, of course, too, players are kind of still adjusting because impassable now does not mean what impassable meant before. In the old rules, impassable, like a building that was impassable, just means you couldn't go through it, you had to go over it.
right. And now it means it's literally cannot be passed. Like
Exactly.
it's the literal meaning of the word.
Yeah, so like things that I've defined as impassable, like we've had some tables where you have vats of acid or whatever, vats of goo, and we've said, hey, that's impassable.
That's
You
the
can only
token
go up
stealing
there
one.
if you've
Yeah.
got a jetpack or a speeder bike sort of deal. You can't climb onto that because then you're standing on goo.
All right, round 3 here. Seize what power we can for Maul versus Fear and Dead Men for Darth Vader.
Yeah, Fear and Dead Men, I've been finding, I've even thought about swapping it out if I ever have to play Blizzard again, which even if it doesn't get nerfed, I kind of don't want to. I never really found the effect all that useful, and I've actually thought maybe push would be better. The problem is then you have to keep Vader in range of your officer.
Right, because you can't get orders on Vader without
Yeah.
the officer.
Usually it was just kind of my pass card, which I think Kyle's doing here.
Wait,
'Cause
it's
he's
on
not really
my
going to
card,
need the dodges.
It
Vader's
was-
not going to get
I
shot
unpaused
at.
it, so I was, yeah. Now you're good.
He's probably just playing it because he doesn't want to burn one of his really good cards. I mean,
Right.
I could have seen like an implacable card here and just go ham on these pikes. But I think he's just. It's good to have that ace up your sleeve to say, hey, I've got implacable for later. Because, you know, even if he goes implacable the same turn Maul does Duel of the Fates, it's not like Vader needs to spend surges offensively because he's got Jedi Hunter. And he doesn't really need aims because he's throwing red dice.
So who's got the big
it doesn't matter that much.
These guys only have one now, right?
Yes.
Not at range of anything?
No, they got an order. I give them an order, so they don't get one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And then this one has two.
I assume Vader was outside range of the officer, which is why we're not seeing the Bombard here.
Yep. Okay. All right, I'm first.
So you definitely don't go first with Vader.
My bag and probably refreshes.
Vader can just sit around doing whatever the heck he wants.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's like, I'm good. I'm only forced to go when you withdraw or...
Yeah, seize what power is an interesting call. I get why he's playing it. It's usually I don't ever play it for the tokens, like to get more tokens. Because JR isn't really going to get more tokens out of it. He's using it because this is the turn where his gun line needs to blow up some bikes and just go boom, 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 boom.
Well, you see, guys, the terrain is subjective and the players declare it beforehand, so you can't do anything about it now.
And here come the bikes looking to finish off this bus before it starts healing. Though, it's out of range to heal anything. But if you start shooting Maul, then the bus will just heal Maul.
All right, we'll do compulsory.
Okay.
Leafy Tree, you would be correct. It is a ton of fun.
Actually,
it is.
let's see.
I love this game, even with the changes.
Safe spot as far as cover is concerned.
And that is a whip squad that Vader is
that
engaged
landing
with. So we do have the possibility for an immobilized token getting on the Dark Lord of the Sith here.
Yeah, I mean, I could see going with the whips as soon as
that guy's
possible
in
and just
R2.
whipping Vader for the damage that you can probably do. There's no way they're going to get the weak point rear arc.
No.
He's just trying to make sure they're actually in
A
arc.
second ago.
Oh.
Uh-oh, he was in arc a second ago. That's not something you want to hear.
We're just gonna just aim and take a shot at the bus.
Okay. Can you cover?
Oh, because Kyle was trying to
That was
place.
a good question.
He basically had, I think
I
that will
have
give
no
cover.
idea.
In this
Yeah,
situation, guys, just get judged. Yep.
Judge.
I
Calling
think
it.
that
Does the
should be
bus have cover?
50% because you'd have to go from basically the
these
worst
two,
spot on
the
the
bus. Yeah.
on the bike. So it looks like about 60% of the bus is covered, I'd say.
Leafy Tree, I would advise you also to follow my YouTube. I intend to do more YouTube content in the future, but you can find, you'll be able to find worlds here as well. You'll also be able to hear more updates from AMG about streams on their Twitter.
I hate the. I mean, they're all of it's bad.
Yeah,
As
I'm
far as
with
the
you.
cover stuff, but the vehicle stuff is the worst. Because that would be unambiguously cover on it.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Rob. Thank you for donating this beautiful terrain, by the way.
Nice.
Guys, check out Legion Terrain. I think it's legionterrain.com.
Finding the terrain and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tall enough.
They've got good stuff. I've got the.
50%.
I really like this droid gunship. I use that on my tables at home. And that is a dead AA5. So Kyle now has a 2 activation advantage, and the points destroyed. Both of those units are worth
we'll go
more
with these
than
guys.
anything Blizzard
We'll
has
try to
outside
kill
of
him.
Vader.
Why
so
not?
even if
All right, Vader gets the
JR
dodge.
kills 2
Yep.
non-Vader things, he's still behind on points.
4, 6.
Fearing Dead Men and...
So with an aim, with a couple aims and all those surges, like this could be a big shot. The whites, it's the lottery with these white dice from the Pykes. It's like 4, and then they have 2 aims if they want them.
Yep.
I think they're probably going to do it.
Oh, nice.
4, 5.
Let's put the name on the card.
Yep.
Aim on the card and
So they had 2 aims?
Well, one, they took a name, and then they're spinning the name on the card.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
There we
And I'll
go.
spend a surge.
No, that's a lot. All right.
Yeah,
So what is that?
6
6?
Vader.
Yeah, 6.
Spend it up. Make it 5.
So Vader probably going to take 1 or 2 wounds here and get an immobilized token. But I don't think he's too worried. But every wound counts on Vader.
We will spend 2 of his surges. So he takes 2 wounds.
Yeah, there we
It's
go.
a start.
Yep.
Okay.
Having to spend 2
okay.
surges there, not great for Vader, but
Still, that's
it's he can't be shot really.
he can't be shot. Yeah.
Because best Maul can do is
take it
like
on my
come in
phone.
and
You get
attack Vader
mobilized,
himself or
Yep.
force push
Or
him
was
into the open, and then
I mean, the best chance is to try to push Vader down far enough where Duel of the Fates could potentially finish him off.
yeah. I think you just wait for Vader to go, then you engage him with Maul, and then you try Duel of the Fates him next turn. Because you can't really set
Where
up
are
a
your
standby
capitals?
castle to force push him into, because the bikes will just come in and go boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom.
they'll just strip every standby
And then
you
Pykes
take.
down.
Yes, that's the blue squad.
And if you force push into the standbys, then I
that
don't
one of
think
the
Maul has
disruptors?
range to actually attack
Is that one
Vader.
of the disruptors?
the
No.
Vader is on the right side of the board, in the middle there with those Pike units. I think I can catch him with the big camera.
Here we go.
Let's see. Yeah, I can catch him with the big camera.
Yeah, I can do the rest on my clock. Manipulation. We called this no cover, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. While we're figuring this out, I'll just talk through the updates on some of the other games. In the Dashes
Shoot one
versus
of your disruptors.
Izzy
It should
game,
be no cover.
ooh, a no cover shot.
Yeah, that pool was ruled no cover.
It doesn't matter which one.
Oh,
Which
Red
one
has
is
2, purple has 3.
We'll shoot the one.
I
with
would
2.
have tried to get that as
Like
area,
me.
just because tables often lack area terrain,
Agree.
and I take the opportunities where I can get them. So, okay, this is a big shot, so we'll wait to see this before we talk about the other games.
An open shot into Pikes
Wow.
for full marks.
6.
So I'll dodge 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.
Take 4 saves. Yeah.
Pikes, 2 dodges aren't great when you still have to roll 4 saves.
Okay.
They
Dodges,
save 2.
Saves out too. That's pretty good.
I mean,
In all honesty.
for the entirety of the attack, the Pikes taking 2 wounds is about right. But 2 wounds is the 5-man squads. You know, baby Pikes are not. They're not your grandpa's Pikes with the capo 6-man with the surge and courage 2. Like,
Yeah.
it's a whole different beast. Like, these guys are not shooting back as bad as they could. It looks like Kyle's just putting the foot on the gas here, and he's just going to. He's not going to nope out with the bikes. He's just
Go,
going
Brad.
to
Yep. he's
finish
like-
this.
Yeah, he's attacking.
This is the
Yeah,
one I
which I
just
think
shot.
Yeah.
makes
Okay.
sense.
No attack.
Okay.
So we've got 2 guys.
He's got 4 bikes.
Yep.
If he ever gets a look, he's got the Bombard. He's got Vader, who can blender things.
This one?
It's good cover from this one.
Let me see where my guys are.
Oh well, his silhouette's clipping something now, though, right?
Where's the silhouette for the...
It's a pancake.
Okay, yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Just nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Oof.
Ooh, and that was one of JR's big shots.
That's another thing too. That's another thing too. With the silhouette of the bike being so small, it's actually really easy to get cover from large objects like those, like that droid head. You know.
That's fine. Good of a name to these boys here.
Pi, I think you're correct. It is tilting progressively towards Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, Vader could just, bikes could just pop. It's possible. But yeah, this is unfortunately kind of how I pictured this matchup going
We'll go with
For,
this one.
Yeah.
for this list into Blizzard. There's a reason Blizzard is the big bad. It has
name.
answers for everything.
The
You
other
got an armor
disruptor?
thing? I'll just blow up
And
your
then
armor.
recover.
Oh, you got a gun line? I'll just choke out your gun line. You got a force user? I've got a force user, so you can't be aggressive with yours.
Right. I'll use a card playing analogy.
Four.
It's like when you've got Ace
Go with
Queen, but
the
your opponent has
trees.
Ace King.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as the Bombard going next turn,
Maul has a dodge currently.
Yes.
As far as the Bombard going next turn, I think one of the problems right now is that rock where Vader's at might be blocking line of sight for the officer on most of the pikes. But with a double move
Alright,
down
so-
the board, she might be able to see a bunch of the pikes for next turn. But here's the thing, you know, when all is said and done, depending what happens, you know, Kyle's got 2 units of snows, probably the officer, a whole lot of stuff breaking through unimpeded, whereas whatever's left of this pike army still has
I'm
to
gonna go
also
snow.
move.
Also, if there are any aspiring Blizzard Force players out there, this is how you do Blizzard Force. You engage with literally everything at once.
Yes, don't feed your army piece by piece to the enemy. You gotta just hit hard and simultaneously, because all of that coming at you, you know, on one turn,
We'll aim.
you know, obviously in
shoot
this
that
turn
bike.
it didn't really work to do the Bombard, but when you've got the Bombard, you've got 4 bikes, 2 HRUs, Bombard,
Same cover
all hitting
situation.
at once.
Yeah.
And then Vader waltzing
believe
in.
so.
You know, this is best case because Vader's also engaged. Usually you're hitting, and then they're distracted
Actually,
while
no,
Blizzard,
this is right here?
Vader walks in, and then Vader engages.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Kyle, the way Kyle like measured all his
maybe
bikes
this-
out
this
and then
one?
engaged
Where is
with
it?
all of them at once is just so key, and it's
We
something that
gotta
a lot
look
of Blizzard
from-
Force
we have to look from
players,
the
a lot of
base
Blizzard Force
to
players
the
don't
bottom
actually
left
do.
corner.
And that wing was
You have the line for it?
perfect. It was in a great spot for Vader. You know, there's been a number of tables I played this weekend where like there's 4 line of sight blockers in the 4
I think it's
corners,
okay.
so you can't do what Kyle did here because there's literally nowhere to move up without getting shot to heck with Vader. So, you know, having a good balanced terrain table is important because it allows players to deploy to utilize that terrain and make their army work.
Spin the aim.
Okay.
The HRU are not very far out of it as far as all at once. They hit hard at 4, so they are
So both
engaged.
surges?
I would consider the
So
HRUs
one for cover,
engaged
you're
and
looking at
threatening
6?
right now.
6.
Six into the bike. Let's see what happens. Does the bike blow up?
So this is the other big shot.
Oh, the bike's
Bike
half
save,
saved.
nice.
half
wow.
save.
That's just
Oh, and that was into a bike that already went.
yeah. So
So it's
just a dagger. Every save for the
Yeah.
bikes is just a dagger.
But-
it's so horrible.
yeah, but it means that Kyle still has 2 full bikes yet to go, not 1.5, which is also huge. And those are the 2 big disruptor shots. So, and all the tokens are gone from Seize What Power We Can. Kyle moving the snows. He's just waiting for people to move. I think on the Pike side, or maybe for Maul to come out
Aim.
before
Attack.
he moves out his HRUs. Now, Kyle did go first this turn, which means JR should have a pass available should he want it. At any point, probably once he's gone with his army and wants to delay Maul, because it's now 9x to
The
10.
light, you're looking at 4?
Okay. Continuing to shoot that bike. Now only in light cover since it lost his buddy. Let's see what happens here.
Oof.
It's gone.
And I think Kyle's absolutely fine with that.
Yeah,
that's a great trade for
That's
him.
fantastic. He traded a bus and a Black Sun for 1 bike.
Yeah, and like I don't think there's going to be any meaningful damage to those 2 bikes yet to go. They're going to go in and they're going to wipe up more pikes.
Bike. What do you have left over here?
A pike and a capo.
Normal pike, not a just a whip
Yeah, the
pike.
whip guy.
So Kyle's like, yeah, okay, sounds good. I'll just dive. You only have a whip guy left and a capo.
Move.
Sounds good to me.
I'll take an aim and shoot the disruptor, the first one I shot.
Yeah. Over here, right?
So he's layering into the same unit. I'd be yeah. I'm not sure what the cover situation is. It's at least light with danger sense. So he's got 4 already.
So 4 down to 3.
Okay, so he had them in the open with suppression cover.
Yep.
Yep.
I
So
get
they're
one
going to roll 4 for 3.
Danger sense.
Yep.
So this unit could just be wiped here, but probably not. 2 blanks so far.
Say 1. Take 2.
Saves 1, yeah.
So there's
So-
2 models left in that unit.
There is
So there should just be the
One.
the
One model.
leader
One
left. I'm surprised that he didn't get cover, but I guess he placed it just so that they didn't.
Unimprovised order it.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as the cover rules go, I don't think we can just blanket say they're bad. Like there's some okay changes
Pass
in
name
there,
to the
and
guys that
especially
haven't
with the
won yet.
climbing stuff too. I mean, I guess it's different than
That's not
cover.
that's not
Cover rules.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so maybe if you have an issue with the cover rules, I
think the
understand.
cover rules are pretty bad.
Okay.
I think the old rules were good. They were just laid out badly.
Fair
But
enough.
Instead of just explaining them better, they all got changed. And
Yeah, I mean, silhouette to silhouette might have been a mistake.
the reciprocal portion of LOS, I like.
You
I
like.
think that's really
Yeah.
good. I think it's a bit undone by the fact that you have to have the unit leader C to make an attack, because then it's not really reciprocal.
That's fair.
And it's still gamey. But I think they did that because they didn't want corner peeking with heavies with the new
Where's your
scoping
one
rules.
dude?
So it looks like if Kyle wants an aim,
The one with the guy.
Oh, right.
I don't think he's going to get the unit in the open there. But he only has to put... Well, they've got Danger Sense too, so he's got to roll 4. It looks. I'm guessing he's
Take an
going to
aim and shoot
aim.
him.
Okay.
He's got cover from us now.
Can the second bike even see that guy?
Yeah, you can see
Okay.
with the side of the silhouette.
Ooh.
So 5
Okay.
down to 3.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
5 down to
Danger
3,
Sense
Yep.
and he gets to roll 5 in response. That's a dead unit.
Oof. Nothing there for danger sense.
These pikes are going fast. These pikes are going real fast.
Yeah,
I'll go
this
with the
could be.
units.
And I think that's all the bikes.
Aim
So
and attack
quick
that
updates
bike.
from the other
Yep.
games.
Yeah.
In the Izzy versus Dash's game with the Iden double bounty, it did look like quite a few clones were off the table with not a lot of Empire off the table, so it seemed like it was going Izzy's way there.
so
It
you're
was
looking
key
at four?
positions,
Should
so
be heavy from left,
having
right.
force push on a key positions game is important. Also, something to
Oh,
note:
Yeah, you're right. 'Cause I
there's
thought
only
it-
one bounty
I
target
thought that was a single model.
in that game. So and
three?
it's Anakin. So it's going to be very hard to collect the bounty. Though IG would love to shoot at Anakin because he's not getting gem sewed, and Anakin can't use his surges.
For all their incapacity, the bikes are still, or for all their incapacity, the Pykes are still killing off bikes at a decent rate. 3 bikes out of 8 are now destroyed, but it's probably not going to be enough in the final balance of things to actually get back on the horse for JR Deeter.
Yeah. And now we're seeing the HRUs. I think Kyle's trying to line up what he can do. I'm not sure what. I guess they were doing a jump there. So they're just getting in position.
Yeah, they climbed it. They
yeah.
climbed it and then moved past it.
In the Invasion Force versus Blizzard Force game, they actually flipped the table sides essentially because of Danger Close.
Oh, wow.
Because Danger Close, you get the long side on the opposite way.
Right, so blue takes red's advantages. a little bit.
Exactly. So the qualms I had as far as might be tough for Invasion to move around, it's a little less important now that they flipped that. So it was a hostage game. So both armies, Dooku very good at hostage, Op Vader very good at hostage. So they're just starting turn 2. Both of the hostages seem fairly safe, but also you never know. So I'm interested to check back in on that game later. And then we already talked about the third game, so we'll get updates maybe closer to round 4, 3, 4 on those ones.
So for those of you that are wondering about Kyle's deployment zone markers, his deployment zone markers are from the 2018-2019 OP kits. So those are where those are from. They're some of the oldest swag that exists in Legion.
Yeah, for one of the oldest players in Legion. Ayo.
Oh my goodness! Ouch.
HR.
I mean,
Don't call him
experience.
old.
Experience.
Experience.
Yeah. No, Kyle's been since day one been a force to be reckoned with in the Legion scene. Obviously, getting second in the inaugural and currently only World Championships back in 2019. I can't talk too much trash about Kyle because he's still playing, looking like he's getting to top 4, and I'm sitting behind the.
You're sitting behind the mic.
Yeah.
It's easy when you're behind the mic.
Yeah. Look, all I'll say is I had 2 Blizzard Force meters yesterday, and I think he only had 1, so. That's my excuse, okay? I need to come up with excuses. It's not that Kyle's just a better player than me.
You guys can't see my face, but
Yeah.
I'm like, that's some nice copium you're smoking
Yeah,
there.
exactly. It's not my fault.
Yes.
Yeah. No, obviously Kyle has shown again and again that he is just on another level.
Would have been a cheeky climb. Not enough range.
Oh, Kyle was looking at like the get on top of the centerpiece move.
I'm all out, by the way.
Okay.
So we have the Force users still have yet to go.
I actually kind of like where Vader is. I'm going to just
Maul is gone.
dodge and swing at those units that he's in melee with.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see using Force Push to kind of reposition Vader here, but he has one of his Force powers tapped because
Actually,
he used
we'll
both
just start
last
with the
turn.
swing. And we'll see what happens from there.
Okay, he's not going to aim. I think that makes sense. There's not a lot of guys left. Yeah, and honestly, if he doesn't somehow kill them all, it's not the end of the world because that means Vader's just safe. Tenacity.
So that's 4. Do they have any, do they have dodges or anything?
No.
I'll leave it at 4.
Okay. Chips on you, Kyle. We get all blocks.
Yeah.
Just gonna get him.
I'll leave one guy alive
Yeah, so
with Pierce.
Kyle elects not to
Well,
use
spend
his
all the Pierce.
Pierce, so that Vader stays
away.
engaged. And then he
Yeah.
gets choked back, so next turn Vader can essentially just, if he wants to Force Push the single guy out, he can. If he wants to choke him out and use Force Push elsewhere, he's got a lot of options next turn.
I think if you make
How
2
many
EUAVs
activations do you have
mandatory,
over
the
here?
Battle Force is dead.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I think
5,
it's
6, 7.
pretty simple. Like, there's no reason Op Vader
out?
should be in Blizzard Force. It should be Commander Vader.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna
You know, that would be a big
activate
change.
Op Vader was definitely not on Hoth.
No.
Never.
Like, you can excuse away Bikes and Stormtroopers on a technicality, but, like, Op Vader,
Pierce here.
Yes,
Doesn't make
Pierce,
much sense.
Pierce is optional. It is
Multi-dodge.
not something widely known.
And then these guys are
That Pierce is optional when you use it on attacks. It's always defined as you may choose to cancel.
So you could decide
X block
when to use your
results.
Pierce at
yeah,
any
may
time?
cancel up to
Die
X
roll?
blocks.
It's optional, yeah.
Okay.
May up to.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's up to, you can apply up to the Pierce value.
Okay.
Yep. And then I think, other than the Commander Vader change, HRUs are obviously ridiculously undercosted, and the Bombard card is stupid.
Okay.
So I think you change those, take away beam, up the cost on HRUs, make it Commander Vader only, and I think you're
The
fine.
dodge suppression
I
thing.
think it's absolutely not crazy.
Maul playing his
Oh, I'm
Eminence.
sorry. I'll recover choke with Master of the Force.
Okay.
Ooh, almost forgot his trigger there. Good sport allowing that. Almost too late.
Dodge. Dodge to these boys. And then pushing here.
That's a great question about why Op Vader is allowed in Blizzard Force, but Op Luke is not allowed in EBD.
Because Luke has a different outfit on.
There you
Yeah.
It's clear that Luke doesn't belong on Echo Base. Whereas Vader, he looks the same, so why not?
Yeah,
But
why not? Yeah.
it's not the same guy.
It might be literally that unconsidered.
Or it was one of the many changes to Blizzard Force made to make it competitive. Cough, cough.
Cough, cough.
Like HRUs. And then Kyle's just dipping out with a single bike, preserving an activation, making sure that it's going to score. Or if they want to chase it down.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
That bike still has a transponder. I'm kind of surprised he didn't transponder dodge just to really keep it alive, because after this turn, I don't think it's going to need that transponder.
Fair enough. And this is also the issue too with shooting bikes, is they can just nope out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you shot my bike twice, I'm just gonna leave.
That is the thing. If it's a different, depending on objective, you know, if you're worried about killing stuff, getting bikes down to one model is great. But on breakthrough, well, they're still going to score.
Yep.
That's the thing.
That doesn't matter. Okay. I'll pass the name to the disruptor,
Yep.
and then I'll pass the dodge to these guys.
Okay.
So to answer what are HRUs, HRUs are the heavy response unit. It's a stormtrooper variant that was introduced with Blizzard Force as print and play. It can take 2 heavy weapons, and it also has unhindered.
And is comes out to basically the best build comes out to a mere 74 points.
Yeah.
For
many
a
other,
lot.
I think all the other factions pay more for less.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, and Kyle's saying, all right, I've killed enough. Bye. Come chase me. Vader will just solo things. Like, honestly, if Vader just delays things a little bit and dies, that's fine. Because as long as Vader lives long enough and then does like a late Master of Evil,
Makes sense.
the Pikes are going to probably not even have enough actions left
Yeah.
to get to the zone. But I don't think Vader is in much danger of dying anytime soon. Though the one thing to consider with Kyle, because he keeps pulling bikes, well, he does have HRUs is the thing, but the thing to worry about is a standby castle with a bunch of pikes. But even then, like, I don't know how much damage that the remaining pikes can do to Vader. Okay, so here comes the withdraw, so they're kind of forcing, hey, Vader, go do something.
Withdrawing.
Yeah.
All right. So what over here has gone already?
Just the capo and this guy.
Okay.
I could see Vader just saying, okay, I'll just go destroy the other shooty squad and choke out a heavy weapon and call it a day. Because he's definitely in range to, it looks like, climb that rock, second move, chop something up, choke out a heavy weapon,
This is his, right?
Yep.
force push something else into
no, that's
him.
yours. Applicable?
It will be mine after I do this. He doesn't get it at the start of the turn. It must be from last turn. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it should.
And he should get a surge from into the fray.
Yeah.
All right, I think I just engage in as much violence. As
I
possible
cannot
at this
speak.
point.
I cannot
choke
speak
that
to
guy.
any Etsy shop or Fifth Trooper status. So
They have official measurements for the silhouette on the rules forum. So whatever you're using, even if you're just printing out the one from the rulebook, just double check your dimensions against the official dimensions for the silhouettes.
Move. How many dodges do they?
They have 3.
Oh shit! How many dodges does Maul have? 1.
1. 2.
Oh.
Because of vigilance and
Right.
defense.
Okay. Well, I'm already over there.
Kyle forgot to double check how many
Thanks, Vader.
dodges
Okay.
units had and engaged a unit with 3 dodges, so won't be doing a ton of work into them, but we'll make them spend their dodges. This is, again, where Force Choke is so good, especially with no unit
one is into the
scoping.
freight
It's the
surges
one
to
way
make
in the
it
game to remove
Dodge
heavies
3. You have to that one.
prematurely. So
you know what? The reason the
we'll
dodges
force
aren't on
choke
the
in.
board is in order
It's
to
a dodge and a wound.
keep them straight for each squad, because there's a lot of pikes balled up, and so it gets kind of crazy when you put all the dodges on the board.
technically, you should be putting them all on the board, and I
not used
definitely
push
like
yet. We'll recover
it. It
choke.
creates situations like this, especially when you're on the clock.
Yeah.
You know, you want to make it easier for your opponent. You need to have things as clear as possible for your opponent. So
Okay.
I stress to people when you're playing, please, please, please try to put them on the
Those
board.
boys will attack.
Dodges, wounds,
Killed 1.
all that
2,
stuff.
4.
Just to be courteous and fair
Gets
to your
another
opponent.
surge.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to aim and attack.
Okay.
And their whip pike here.
Yeah.
Spin the aim. So 3.
Okay. From the dodge.
So Vader dodge, rolling 2.
No, I'm gonna save the dodge. We'll just
Save the
roll.
dodge? Okay.
Saving the dodge in case he gets shot at.
Yeah, he's got surges to burn, so no point.
Well, oh!
Alright.
Should have spent the dodge.
Dice.
I hear you guys over there.
We know.
But again, if Vader dies, I'm not sure if it's the way
All
in
right,
the world.
bag.
Yeah, I know.
But like,
At this point, he might be so
that's some
far
terrible
ahead.
variants for
It does get
Vader.
immobilized and suppression.
Yep. Okay.
The one thing that Vader has to be weird about
It's improv. That's a core unit.
if he comes real late and gets suppressed, he gets 1 action minus 1 action, and we get 0 actions on his second activation. Did he use a choke in the end?
I don't remember.
I don't. Yeah.
Where's your last disruptor? This one?
Yep.
Oh,
go
he
to
didn't
safe
choke
for
the
you.
disruptor. That's strange. This is round 3. Yeah.
Oh, he choked.
He
the
choked
one- he
the
Pike
single
leader.
unit leader. I don't love that choice, but I get it. But I don't love it. I'd rather just take out firepower to keep Vader alive. But he's taking out activations. He's taking He's taking out potential scores. So I think I'll do a quick count on how much stuff is left for JR as far as like his maximum available score at the end of the game.
Move in the base.
Yep.
Aim and attack.
Yep.
So yeah, JR has lost 4 units, so the maximum he can score is 6. And as we say, Kyle probably getting 2 snows, an officer, a few bikes. Like, it's looking pretty good in that respect.
4.
But of course,
Okay.
Vader,
Kyle's
a dead
gonna
Vader is a lot of kill points.
And Maul in for 4.
Vader could die here.
Yeah, he could easily die. He's dead. Wow, he rolled
Now
another.
you are blinking out.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He rolled like
Vader
6 blanks in a row.
Rolled.
Alright.
That is some of the
Bag.
worst Vader rolls you will ever see.
Yeah, you will ever see. It's so maddening, especially when you've got the defensive resources available to save at 66%.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another one where if you're going to dive in with Vader like that, I feel like you want choke. If you don't choke the disruptor, choke the
I'm not counting. I
whip.
think you have 6 over there now, right?
But
I have 7.
if you're going to die anyways, I
You're not
guess
quite killed.
no one was going to kill that single dude otherwise,
yeah,
so
I think
I
you're
can't
right.
argue too much with the
1,
choice
2.
in retrospect. But yeah, that
Kill these.
those whiffs are
Yeah, I have 6.
pretty wild.
And over here already, I have 1, 2, 3,
Then you have
4,
command and
5,
carry?
6, 7. Yeah.
And if anything that
Oh, that's a concession. Wow.
it's a concession because he can't chase. JR
not
just
getting anything
can't chase
through
and
the whole
score.
time.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
that he commits
Yeah.
to kill
What
a
do you think I did
unit
differently?
is a unit he takes away from scoring. So it's a zero-sum game.
Let's listen into
Breakthrough
what
against
let's listen
Blizzard
into what they
stuff.
talk about.
Especially with the bus, because the bikes can hunt the bus so easily. It just drops so fast. And then once that's down, it's like, all I have to do really is just, go back the other way, stall with Vader a little bit. I don't know. I think the Black Sun thing was a good play.
To be honest,
Yeah.
I was hoping to get key position to hostage,
Uh-huh.
and when I saw those back two, I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah. It was an uphill battle, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not even mad at it. It's
Yeah.
a good list. It's just overtuned a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe if you had put the Black Sun over here, that would have been interesting because I just had my naked snows. Like, I would have had to divert a lot of shit over there to deal with them.
Because I was thinking that, but if you did that, all you had to do is spend all your acts just moving over
Just
here,
killing them and then go over there. Yeah.
So yeah, it was. I feel like it was just a losing battle. And
Right. And bikes are mobile enough to do that kind of
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
My one thing was like, if I could take out Maul fast, maybe I could survive, and I needed to roll good saves, but
Yep.
yeah. So thanks for the game, Kyle.
Yeah,
Really
good game.
fun. Yeah. I hope you take it for the win.
All right, we're gonna
That would make
unmic
you
the
get some nerfs on
players.
the Blizzard Force.
There we go. That's
And,
my whole goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purely altruistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna
Trying to build
go.
awareness.
I'm gonna go
Right.
unmic the players real quick. I'll be right back. Matt is getting an update on the other
Got
games
the
right
Spiders
now.
nerf last year. Now let's get the Blizzard Force.
Yep.
So I'll be right back, guys. Hang tight.
Oh, no.
Don't go anywhere.
I didn't know. So teach me about the object terrain. Like,
You can
Updates?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna go get the players' microphones.
Okay,
you just
so
have to specifically class.
yeah, so before we sign off for this round, we can at least give some updates on what's going on the other tables. So in Izzy versus Mike, it's a little tough to tell for sure, but I'm seeing a lot of dead clones and nothing too bad on Izzy's side. Kind of some wounds distributed around on some of the heroes. But still, KP, Force Push. Anakin seems to be doing okay, so that's good for Mike. On the Invasion Force, Blizzard Force table, Dooku is dead, the AAT is dead, the Magnas are dead. So I think pretty soundly then that Blizzard should be taking that one home. So far, Empire looking very good. Maybe favored in one game and won 2 games. In the last game, a number of dead clones, but from different units. And apparently, Cad had some bad saves on the Imperial side, and he is dead. So that is the VAPS game. So almost certainly, it looks like Mike is going to lose on kill points because he has lost a full model and would have to basically kill 2 things of Timbo's to get through on the kill points. So most likely, the way it looks now, I'm thinking 2 Empire, 3 Empire, 1 Gar, or 2 Empire, 2 Gar in the top 4. Red saves, very, very good. I wouldn't say at least 3 Empire yet. It's not for sure. You know, the Izzy Dashes game, there's still a lot to go. But it's, I think, based on what I could gather passing by the table, it's looking a little bit favored in terms of Empire there.
Okay, everybody, with that, we will be back for the top 4 match at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. And I want to say special thanks to Legion Terrain for providing this beautiful board. We are going to switch boards between rounds. Visit legionterrain.com. Huge thanks to some of our sponsors. Matt, can you hand me that legal pad?
For sure.
Yep. So first of all, I want to say a special thank you to Frontline Gaming for hosting this event and for ponying up for Stream and Internet. Without them, this could not be possible. I want to say thanks to everybody that donated tables to the event. ZZM Armory, Corvus Games Terrain, Nick Bodnar, 5280 Legion, Luminous Gaming, Rad's Game Shop, Terrains 4 Games, Legion Terrain, and the Legion Outriders for transporting 40 tables to this event. Wow, what a contribution. I also want to thank everybody that supplied prize support. I did mention ZZM Armory already. 6 Up Supply, huge amounts of prize support they provided, including Force Flasks, as well as Squad Marks for providing base marking sets. And we've got some giveaways to start giving away. We've got 2 Force Flasks to give away to lucky stream participants. So we'll get that rolling in a little bit here. No, well, when I say a little bit, I mean 2 hours. Next game. Yeah. So come back for next game to get the to get a giveaway Force Flask you could win. And we'll be back later with more Star Wars Legion action here on Yavin Base, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. You know where to find it. Visit Yavin Base on YouTube. Visit Endless5055 on Twitter. Also check out the Bombad Generals. Thank you, Matt, for co-casting today.
Thank you for having me, David.
And we'll see you guys in 2 hours or so right here on Yavin Base. Thanks for watching.